again.
Yeah.
So welcome, everyone. This is my first author talk, and this is a conversation with Ros Ben-Moshe. She is the author of The Laughter Effect. Yay!
Yay.
So, oh, hang on a sec here. Let me just, I'm going to do that. Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to introduce Ros. So I want to tell you a little bit about her. Ros, she's a laughter, well-being, and positivity author and academic. She's an adjunct lecturer at the School of Public Health and Psychology at La Trobe University. She is a coordinator of a world first laughter, resilience, and well-being online short course for professionals. She's the author of 2 books. Her first book, With Laughing at Cancer, How to Heal with Love, Laughter, and Mindfulness. And tonight, the book that we're here to talk about, The Laughter Effect, How to Build Joy, Resilience, and Positivity. And whoops. So just to tell you a little bit about the book, The Laughter Effect, it's philosophy that boosts well-being and cultivates joy, self-care deepened with mindfulness, gratitude, and compassion, and it builds resilience, fosters positivity, and improves interpersonal interactions. Tonight's session will start with a conversation with Ros about her book, followed by some interactive activity she'll guide us through. We'll wrap up with a Q&A session. Please keep your microphone muted during the initial part of the session. Ros will let you know when to unmute for certain activities. If you need immediate clarification on something that Ros is discussing, we invite you to raise your digital hand. Everybody knows where their digital hand is. And otherwise, we invite you to please save your questions for the Q&A. And without further ado, let's give Ros a warm welcome with some jazz hands, and yay! Okay, so I have a few questions for Ros. Ros, what inspired you to create The Laughter Effect?
Great question. Well, thank you firstly for organizing this, and it's just so wonderful to see all these wonderful faces, and I'm very grateful for that. So I mean, laughter is something we're all familiar with. You know, we grow up and smiling and laughter comes before language. You know, we ha 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 before we da 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 or ma ma ma. And I was sort of already in the world of laughter yoga. I'd sort of been introduced to it about 20 years ago now. And it was at a time when I was looking to go back to study. And in order to get into the postgrad study, they said I needed to get equivalence. And I volunteered for a World Health Organization health promotion conference as a rapporteur. So I would report on all of the sessions. And in between all these serious, fabulous sessions, there was this 30-minute laughter yoga session. And I thought, this I have to report on. So I went along with my pad and my pen. And of course, anyone who is familiar with laughter yoga, as I think many of you are, will know this is not something you report about. This is something that you do. And I was immediately hooked. You know, I felt just like fantastic. I almost zoomed out of the room. And I went back and I did my studies. I did, you know, health promotion and public health. And during that time, there's a lot of talk, obviously, about mental health. And what I was hearing was a lot of discussion about depression, anxiety, and stress. So I thought, well, what about this laughter thing? That really seems to me, you know, a positive expression of mental health. So I really started to, you know, I trained as a laughter yoga facilitator, and I became an expert at preaching about laughter being the best medicine. I'd go into a group, an old aged care group, and I'd say, laughter, it's fantastic, do more of it. And I'd go into, a group of a cancer support group, and I'd say, laugh more, it really is, boosts the endorphins and, gives you that sort of shot of, well-being. And that was all very well and good until a distinctly unfunny time in my life where about 12 years ago, I was diagnosed with bowel or colon cancer. And there's nothing funny about cancer, right? And I wasn't in the mood for laughing. But still, there was this little voice inside me that said, laughter is going to be still very much a part of your experience here. And a few days prior to this major 5.5 hour, surgery where I had a full bowel resection and a temporary, I was keeping my fingers crossed at the time, an ileostomy, which is a bag that you wear on the outside to process your crap, basically. I had been booked for a corporate lingerie party. And it was the last place in the world I wanted to be, like in a room with 20 or 30, professional women flaunting lingerie and having a fabulous time. But it was the best thing that could have happened to me. I went along and I sort of put on the face, but in no time at all, once I went through the health benefits of laughter and then the actual physical laughter yoga session, I realized it was the first time that I'd ever facilitated a session that actually I needed it more than the participants. And so I thought, well, that's what I will do. After the surgery, I will intentionally laugh a lot because it really helped. Well, anybody here had any form of abdominal surgery for good reasons, and maybe, a baby pops out, or the not so great reasons, and, you have a little growth or something cut out? If you are familiar with any form of abdominal surgery, you will know that it is physically almost impossible, super uncomfortable to be able to laugh in the aftermath of surgery. Okay. So here was this great plan of mine, and I'm thinking, I can't laugh. This thing that I've taken for granted my whole life has been taken away from me, and I'm not in the mood for laughing. And this is a roundabout way of answering your question, Tamar, because this is when the laughter effects development really happened, because it was in one of the darkest moments that I've had in my life. And that was on day 8 after this major bowel resection. I'd had a pretty harrowing night, and I was hounding the nurses for the morphine. And I'd already had one dose, 1 in the morning. And, the lovely nurse said, really, you need to wait, in the morning, we'll review and, you'll be able to get another dose. And I knew that my 2 sons, who were aged 12 and 15, were going to be coming to visit me in the morning. And my younger one was already finding this whole experience of mum, having the little c, but cancer, it had really started to be a real source of anxiety for him. So I thought, I can't let the boys see me like this, but I just don't know how to go about it. And as these thoughts are going through my head, a lovely lady comes in with a breakfast trolley, and she says, here's, breakfast. And I said, I'm just not hungry. Just take it away. Thanks anyway. And she said, I'll leave it here just in case. I said, okay, if you must, sort of thing. And whilst I did not have any appetite for the actual food, what caught my eye was the placemat, the paper placemat underneath the tray of food. And there was a pencil on the tray as well, because in the olden days, 12 years ago, we had to write down what you wanted for your next meal. There were no iPads back then. So I thought, I'm going to just recount just a few things that I'm grateful for about this operation and this, where I find myself at the moment. So I map out a tiny margin in the right-hand side of this placemat. So the strange thing is, when I reflect about it now, I'm thinking, why didn't I map out on the left-hand side? Because we write in English from the left to the right. I think clearly I just didn't think at the time I was going to have any more than just in the far right column of things that I would be grateful for. And boy, was I surprised. I started to recount, all of the things that I was grateful for, the love and care that I had received from my family, having the operation in a world-class hospital, my body's miraculous capacity to heal. And all of a sudden, there was another margin. I started writing and writing, and I kept on writing until my writing became so small, it was sort of crammed into the bottom left corner of the placemat. And as I got to the end of this process, I realized that I was actually sitting up straight and I was beaming. I was smiling. It felt like from the inside out. And then the nurse came by and she immediately boomeranged right out of the room. And I'm thinking, where's she going? And she thought she'd gone into the wrong patient's room because this was not the same person that she had seen a couple of hours ago. This was a totally different look, because here was I, as I say, just this lightness, this levity. And for a few moments or even longer, I had forgotten my pain. And that was my first experience of embodying what I now refer to as the laughter effect. It goes beyond physical laughter, ha ha ha, because I couldn't physically laugh, but it tapped into the energy of smiling, of laughter, of joy. And I, in that moment, had activated my own source of well-being, because endorphins are 30 times more powerful than the synthetic version, morphine. And that sort of process was continued, the expansion of this idea of the laughter effect by journaling. So any opportunity, I would really challenge some of my thoughts. We don't always have to believe what we think. And that can be really challenging when we're in a bad, state of mind. Whatever we place our attention on is what we focus on, the fear, the frustration, or we can focus on what's going well in our world, the moments of joy, the moments of levity. And this year of healing, I really just kept on challenging and introducing different things that really helped my own healing and well-being. And so that sort of resulted in my first book, Laughing at Cancer. However, I realized it's not just me that goes through these incredible transformative experiences. There's so much more to this. There are so many more incredible stories out there of people's transformation from places of darkness and challenge and sickness to incredible thriving. And that is, one of the reasons why I decided that this is far too important to just keep to myself, or keep to the perception that it just is about, people who are going through a cancer diagnosis. This is a philosophy that it can apply to everyone, no matter their age, no matter their stage, no matter their cultural background. So I decided that that's what I would do. I would sort of do this research about, what is the laughter effect? What are the components? And I was really excited that 2020 was going to be my year of joy. Well, we all know what 2020 was, but I was so grateful that this was my joy project, and there was nowhere else for me to be other than really stuck into, the research of humor and laughter and positivity and joy. So it was the best gift that I had for myself that I can now very gratefully share with others.
Thank you, Roz. That was so inspiring. And to me, it's always such a joy to hear people tell their stories of how laughter has helped in their healing. And we're so glad that you are doing well after your diagnosis and major surgery. So, as somebody who is experienced in the field of humor, did you encounter any unexpected or enlightening insights while researching and writing your book?
Well, firstly, it's like you go in, you know how it is. An expert mind is someone who actually realizes how little you know. And it was a challenge that I had when I was researching my book because there were so many amazing things that I discovered. So in my book, I really go from the history of humor and laughter and how it has been used to connect and heal communities since day dot, from indigenous communities, biblical communities, right up until, the present moment. So, if I just think about each chapter, there were so many, oh my gosh, moments. Uh, Ancient Egyptians used to have the equivalent of a court jester. Like way back then, they would have, a jester that would be brought in to entertain and improve the mood of the pharaoh. I had no idea it went back that far. I knew about biblical references, but I didn't know about ancient Egypt. And then, the reverence to court jesters through medieval ages. Queen Elizabeth I called on her court jester before she called on her medical practitioner to help, raise her spirits. And then there are cultures that have this incredible dedication to laughter. There's, North American, you have to forgive my pronunciation, the Chihuahua tradition, which is the baby's laughter first ceremony in the Dene North American tradition. So there were, all of these things. Then just in the historical perspective, then I couldn't believe it that Darwin, Darwin is known as, the father of, natural evolution. He should really be known as the father of smiling and laughter because he studied animals smiling and laughing and playing together, and how that really enhanced, the relationship within the tribe, and how that is also witnessed in humankind. So that really blew me away. Then, there were so many. I can talk about some of the unbelievable people that I got to speak to, and I will mention one. But before I do, this idea that people think that laughter is associated with humor, except for, if you're in the laughter yoga world, you know that you can summon laughter, you can choose to intentionally laugh. But the average person's perception is that you laugh when something's funny, right? So one of the things that I researched was Robert Provine's, who's a psychologist, his research. And it introduced this idea of the conversational or punctuation effect of laughter. So 80% of laughter in conversations is generated not because something funny happened or, a joke. It is actually just to help lubricate conversations. I'll give you an example. Tamar, it's just such fun being here, it really is. And, how fun is it that, we can all gather together and, have this, conversation. Now, whilst that laughter might seem a little contrived and artificial, you will notice, now that I've mentioned it, I'm sure, that laughter often punctuates conversations at the beginning of a sentence and at the end of a sentence. And often it can be in slightly awkward conversations that you have, like to help ease the tension. So actually, when we have conversations with people, we actually activate the laughter effect without even knowing it. So the more conversations we have with people, so not LOL, hey, WhatsApp or text messages, but real conversations elicit laughter. And that really blew my mind. And it feeds into this whole idea about, laughter is a very social function, and it's an integral resource that we have been born with, and it plays out throughout our life. So yeah, as I say, there were so many aha moments, and even though I've now written this book, it's like, it's not like I think, oh, okay, I've learned everything. There's just always more, and it's often in the stories. It's in these most extraordinary stories. So I can share one now if you'd like.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm staring at the giraffe, and even though I understand that you're in America, I'm not in Africa, I will share a story about this most incredible woman called Angel Kimmy. So Angel Kimmy, her name is Kim O'Mara, is from West Australia in Perth. And she was diagnosed with a very debilitating disease, which essentially is a terrible autoimmune disease. And in theory, it dries you up, like from the, it's a really challenging diagnosis. And most people who get diagnosed with it, they don't have great health outcomes. Anyway, Kim essentially was introduced to Dr. Madan Kataria, who's the founder of Laughter Yoga, and she became really interested in this idea of laughter to heal. So when she got her diagnosis, she responded in a way that not too many people would, in that she began to laugh. And she laughed about every single thing that had happened to her up until that moment, which included sexual abuse as a child. And you might be thinking, how can you laugh about that? Well, I also had that question, and her response was, how could I not? If I want to heal, how can I not? And that her story was not over until there was essentially a happy ending. So she decided to take her newfound skills with her to Rwanda, of all places. And that was to meet two life objectives. One was she wanted to meet gorillas. And the second thing was that she wanted to go and introduce, crazy idea. She wanted to introduce laughter yoga in Rwanda to the Hutu and Tutsi previously warring tribes. Like, who thinks of something like that? But along she went, and she started to work with an organization called the Rwanda Resilience Organization, and introduce this idea of laughter yoga as a therapeutic way to heal from trauma. And she began facilitating groups where you would have people who were the perpetrators and people who were the victims of terrible atrocities, and they were able to laugh together. And people hear this story and think, how can someone who has, essentially lost family members, or be in a room with someone who has, murdered your own family, how could you do that? And what Kimmy found was that it enabled people to start to process their trauma from a slightly elevated perspective, because dealing with it from that sort of baseline was just far too difficult. But, there are some forms of trauma that no amount of conversation can heal. Whereas being able to laugh together, it actually acted as a release. And as a result of what she started, almost 20 years ago now, there is several laughter yoga groups in Rwanda that are working together. And she's sort of got a grant from Rotary International. So, it's not just, the research, people sort of think that research is a dull thing. When you start to take into account the most incredible stories like Angel Kimmy's, you just realize how much potency something as simple as the laughter effect, smile effect, has for, individuals and communities.
Well, thank you for those wonderful insights. And I'm sure that anyone who hasn't read your book is now eager to dive right in. And I love the story, especially about that line that you said, how can I not if I want to heal? That is such a powerful statement. So on that note, let's move on. So given my background in laughter yoga, where one of the principles is to laugh without relying on humor or comedy, I'm intrigued by your book's embrace of humor. Could you elaborate on why you believe humor is an important aspect of the laughter effect?
Sure. So laughter yoga is brilliant. And can I just ask, is there anyone here who's not familiar with laughter yoga?
I believe everyone here, to my knowledge, is.
Fine, perfect. I just didn't know whether I needed to spell it out. So laughter yoga is an incredibly powerful modality. You all know it, you've all experienced it. And the wonderful thing is that it doesn't rely on humor. However, it does encourage humor. It does, when we laugh, even if it's simulated, it does encourage, that sort of, just laugh, the ability to be able to laugh at yourself. And that is a really important tool for resilience. However, I found that laughter yoga is part of a bigger picture. That it's really important, not necessarily for everyone, but I think for many people, that being able to find the funny really helps navigate those sorts of, down times. And I know it's been a really valuable tool for me. And when we're going through challenging times, laughter is often the first thing that goes out the door. Humor is often one of the first things that go out the door. So we actually need to be more intentional about these things, whether it's, any form of positivity during challenging times. So humor is one of the things that I found has been a really important tool to help uplift me. And, it's in those little moments of interaction. For example, when I was having the second operation to reconnect my bowel, I would joke with the nurses about my timing for the operation was because I got a free supply of bananas from the hospital kitchen. And it was at the time that a cyclone had basically taken out all of the Australian banana crops. And my sons were banana-aholics. I loved, bananas were one of the few things I could really eat. And it was just really interesting how I sort of experiment with just sort of joking around with the nurses and how it really helped in my sort of a bit, connection with them and relationship with them. But I also noticed that they would leave my room with a smile on their face. And humor, being able to just not leave humor to chance. We've been, heard about, we don't want to leave laughter to chance, but humor is also, it is a really fundamental part of being a human being. And, whatever we seek, we see. So the more humorous happenings that we can see and share with people, the more they will sort of form the beat of our day rather than the not humorous or the more stressful things. And, just like laughter is a stress reliever, well, humor is one of the ways that obviously humor doesn't necessarily result in laughter, but it results in, the feeling of amusement. And, it lightens your mood. So, lightening one's mood on a regular basis is really important for our overall well-being. So, yeah. And it's, as I say, it's an art form and it means different things to different people. I do not have the natural knack of telling jokes. which is why laughter yoga has been so fantastic. I haven't had to brush up on my jokes. However, I do love funny memes, and I do love sharing, funny, humorous happenings with, with friends and loved ones. And I loved, just that, just how, we think about humor as, just something that's not, it's nice to have in your life, but we don't necessarily realize how integral it is. And I think that during the pandemic was one time where we actually realized that humor is very much a fundamental part of being a human being, where literally alongside the pandemic and all of that horrible happenings, there was a pandemic. People were laughing about, toilet paper shortages and, ridiculous things, because it was a control. It was like we couldn't control the pandemic. We couldn't control, all of those negative, and very, very, tragic happenings around us, but we could choose how we respond. And if we respond, with levity, with humor, it helped us deal better with the immediacy of what was going on. So it's a really important attribute to be able to, develop and integrate into your life.
Thank you so much. And your book gives lots of little tips and how-tos, how to just reinvigorate your sense of humor. And I just love that. And is there a particular excerpt or insight from your book that you're eager to share with us?
Well, see what we'll see when I flick the book. Are you familiar with Agony Aunt, or Dear Abby? Do people sort of grow up with Dear Abby? It's like, Dear Abby,
Yeah.
my boyfriend of so many years has just dumped me, and what do I do? Well, I decided that I was going to take a different angle, and I introduced this idea of serotonin sister throughout my book. So, you can actually see, you can sort of see how it's got these sort of like, wow, serotonin sister. And I just happened to open up on one. And so this one is, I'm worried people will think I've lost my mind if I'm seen laughing for no reason. So serotonin sister answers, I totally understand. If you're a self-conscious laugher, laugh in places you feel less vulnerable. The shower, home alone, or in the car. Also, it can help to remind yourself why you're laughing, for the joy and health of it, the best reason of all. So, one of the things I sort of talk about, is this idea of, that laughter is a very vulnerable act, and how as we age, that laughter often shuts down. We're so worried about what people think that we forget to laugh. And so I integrate into my into the book just really small things that you can do. And we can do this right now. Let's unmute. And I'm sure you're familiar with this exercise, but excellent. We're going to just pretend that our mouth is a zip, and we're going to just, unleash the laughter. So if you just follow what I do, okay? As I say, you're probably familiar with this, okay? So let's unzip our mouth with laughter. Just see that, it's like, you just do that like that. And I think that there's a real power to this, notion of being intentional. It's like, okay, nothing really fun's happening in my day, but geez, I could do with a bit of a burst of laughter. Like, I'm going to unzip my mouth with laughter. And then one of the things that I talk about quite a bit is this idea of micro moments of levity, that micro moments of joy, micro moments of laughter that you can integrate into your day. And these are especially important when the going is tough, that you're not really having huge celebrations or big overseas trips or get that fabulous promotion. This is just for everyday scenarios to just infuse little bursts and spurts of joy and levity. And there are many ways in which you can do this, but one of my favorites is this idea of a traffic light moment. And that this is the idea that traffic and being stuck in traffic and commuting is generally a source of stress. But what if we reframe traffic lights? How much difference would it make to our days if we reframe traffic lights as opportunities when that light turns red to breathe, to smile, and to laugh? And the best thing is that, if a passerby, just walks past, or you pull up next to another car, nobody will know that you're not just laughing with, hands-free on the phone. So it sort of takes away that sort of vulnerability. And it is just a fabulous way of, say, just getting laughter rather than that moments, it's like, oh, I'm running late, another damn traffic light. It's like, hey, traffic light's red. I can't change it, but I can change how I respond to it. And I'm going to use this as an opportunity, as I say, to, to breathe and to smile and even, to laugh. So I love, this traffic light moments that we can, find our own traffic light moment in our day. And then essentially we rewire our brain, through this process of reframing from traffic light to, hey, this is a great opportunity for me just to connect, to, breathing, etc. So yes, they were just a couple of things.
Thank you so much for all of that. We have a question in our chat. Carlos, I don't know if you would like to read it or you want me to read it for you.
Just read it because I had no voice.
Okay. Whoops.
Thank you.
Sorry, my Zoom has closed on me. Just there. Okay. Most of us, when we are in adverse circumstances or close to transcendence, inspirations like your fabulous story come to us. What do you recommend to those of us who are physically and mentally healthy to obtain inspiration and document our own story?
That's a great question. And I love how you say document our story, because our stories really form who we are, and we can change and we can challenge our stories. So one of the things that I've found the most beneficial, especially, when we're going through, just life really, is to journal. And journaling is very healing and, has, very known, cathartic qualities. Whereas I love this idea of journaling with a laughter effect. So essentially taking a particular situation that you're going through and asking yourself the question, what would happen if I were to view this situation through the lens of levity? Can I find the funny? Can I ramp up the funny? Is there something, that I can laugh about here? Or can I, look at this through the lens of gratitude or awe? And sometimes when our story gets a bit murky and muddy, we get fixated on the present moment. What journaling enables us to do is to pose questions that take us either into the past or into the future. So what I mean by that is, if you feel that that there is something that you're going through and that you just can't sort of draw on anything in the moment that you are grateful for, you can perhaps call on something that you are grateful for in the past that has helped you, or be future grateful. think about something in the future that you will be grateful for, especially grateful for about this particular scenario. And the great thing about this practice is that your brain cannot tell between, when it's thinking, its thoughts, it doesn't differentiate between the past, the present, and the future. It's just lost in those thoughts. So the more that we can direct our thoughts to past, present, or future, things that are going well, that amplify that positivity, that's where our thoughts go. And that's what multiplies. So no matter how great your story is, it can even be enhanced more. And as I say, these are sort of, ways in which, these micro moments of levity, these, really, change our story. And it's interesting, sometimes even when we think that everything is going well in our world, even by posing, the question, is there anything little that I would like to change in my life that would, positively enhance my relationship with X? Be really specific. And it's amazing what comes to you. And I'm not saying that there isn't a place for negativity. I'm not saying that you should deny these negative thoughts or not, journal about those negative thoughts, but it's about, yes, it's about writing those and acknowledging those, but not getting lost in them. It's like acknowledging, hey, this is a really shitty time. However, there are, moments I'm grateful for, things I can find funny, people, in my life that, make me feel good, etc., etc. So you don't lose yourself in that negativity, because that can be a danger, through, yeah.
Thank you. And there's another question in the chat from Tiffany. Ros, could you please share about the baby and laughter anniversary thing again?
I should have put it up, but basically it's fabulous. I'm going to look it up. The history of laughter. No, it's in Laughter Thrive. Okay, I'm going to read this because it's a Native American Navajo known as Dina's first laugh ceremony. It's called Awi Chidilo, and I apologize for my pronunciation. To the Navajo, a baby's first laugh is seen as a sign of the baby transcending their spiritual existence and indicating readiness to join their family and community in life and love. From around 3 months of age, caregivers and other family members compete with one another to elicit the first hallowed laugh by tickling, peekabooing, poking, and making silly faces. Whoever wins hosts a first laugh ceremony to celebrate the successful transition of the baby into the world. As a mark of respect to the family they're born into and to honor the spiritual world, the baby is considered the ceremonial host. And each guest receives a plate of food, rock salt, symbolizing tears shed through loss or sadness and connection to the earth, and a bag of goodies. The expressed desire is that the baby will always experience togetherness among family and friends throughout life. And I just love that example. So yes, thank you. That's that ceremony.
Thank you. Is there anybody else with more questions?
Someone has shared a file. Let's see.
Okay, I think that we are getting rid of this.
Okay, but what I was going to say is, what I thought might be valuable is one of the things that I did, when I couldn't laugh was smiling, and I thought maybe you would like to, we could do just like a 2 or 3 minute smiling, mindfulness practice, because laughter is very loud, it's out there, but sometimes you just need to have something that you can do. Just, first thing in the morning, last thing at night, even, in a busy day, you just go into, a restroom or something and have a bit of a smiling meditation. So if you are all open to this, I invite you, firstly, it's 2 or 3 minutes long, but I just would still like to invite you to just think about how you're feeling now. Perhaps you can put a number where 1 is, not great at all. 10 is, oh my gosh, I feel so fantastic. And just see whether in this 2 or 3 minutes, there is any shift in that number. Okay. So I invite you all to please close your eyes, turn off your screen, or leave it on, whatever you're comfortable with, and just take a deep breath in through your nose and then out, either through your nose or mouth. Taking another nice deep breath in and out. And a nice deep breath in as the slightly cooler air travels in through your nostrils and the slightly warmer air exits. And I'd like you now to place a smile on your face. It might help to think of a time in your life when you were unconditionally loved or everything was going tickety-boo. And just sit with this smile on your mouth and face and note how it makes you feel. How your lips feel. How your cheeks feel. How your eyes feel. And breathe this smile in. And as you exhale, share this energy of the smile deeper throughout your being. Once more, breathing it in. And as you exhale, sharing it deeper throughout your being. And I invite you to just place this energy of the smile into your heart space. Filling your heart space with this energy of this love, of this joy, of this radiant smile. Breathing it in, and with every exhale, the energy of this smile grows even more strong. Each in-breath, the energy of the smile filling your heart space with love and a sense of reassurance, and each out-breath just sharing that energy of the smile more deeply within. And now sending this energy of the smile even deeper into your belly. And imagining this smile is traveling around your whole belly, perhaps even like a Pac-Man, traveling around, quelling any feelings of anxiety or stress, filling it with this joyous energy of the smile. With each in-breath, that feeling of the smile deepens, and with each out-breath, goes even deeper into your being. And now perhaps there's a particular thought or physical part in your body that you would like to direct this energy of the smile to. And please invite your smile to that thought or that part of your body. Once again, breathing it in and sharing this energy, this smile, this joy, this love, this source of well-being. Breathing it in and out. And now imagine it's as if from the tips of your toes to the top of your head, your whole body is filled with this smiling energy. Every cell, every tissue, every fiber, every muscle in your body is smiling. And note how it makes you feel. And know that at any time of the day, no matter what might be going on in your external environment, by placing a heartfelt smile on your face, you are changing your physiology. You are tapping into your endorphins. You are tapping in to your source of well-being. And just now, just breathing in energy and sharing it deeply within. And offering yourself a moment of gratitude, thanking yourself for this wonderful experience that you've just had of really journeying with a smile. Once more, breathing it in and exhaling that smiling energy. And when you're ready, just allowing your eyes to float back open and come back into the room. So I hope you enjoyed that. That was 3 minutes, just a bit over 3 minutes. Is anyone feeling any differently? Yes, Grace.
Yes, I see Grace. Did you want to say something?
Oh, I just love that. And I think of that was beautiful. Thank you so much, dear. What the saying, how does it go? A laughter, like, no, sorry, smile. Oh, I can't remember. I'm sort of like now just floating on the smile. Like there's a saying about laughter is a smile that has burst forth or something
That's
like that.
right.
You know
Yeah,
that one?
yeah.
I don't know who
Yeah.
said that. But I love that.
Laughter is a
But I
smile that
love
bursts.
that.
Yes.
Yeah, that was really
And that's,
beautiful. Thank you so much.
oh, it's a pleasure. And I love, it's about all of these sort of, skills that we sort of have up our sleeve. And I think, for me, especially, when I was going through the treatment for the bowel cancer, it was dedicated smiling, mindfulness practices. Now it's more a matter of starting every meditation or mindfulness practice, with that smile. And it's amazing in the years how I've noticed that it just smiling just becomes, an effortless thing. And how, when I'm walking down the street, I must give off like smiling pheromones because people are always smiling back at me. And, and these are, it's a ways, just bringing this intentionality, choosing every day to smile with someone new, someone different. I know there's, a bit of a risk sometimes involved, but, the more we can just, intentionally just integrate these small moments of smiling or laughter or humor in our days, the more they the beat. And it changes how we feel, but it's also changes how the world interacts with us.
We also had in the chat lighter, more relaxed. Thank you, Ross. Roz, amazing. Congratulations, and calmer. And
Oh.
Grace has her hand up again. So did you have
Yeah,
another?
I'm sorry, I came in a bit late, but I don't know if you've already shared this. You may know this, but just maybe it's worth repeating that by smiling, even like a half smile, and if you're faking it till you make it, you get the endorphins released, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So yeah. It's funny that you say that the mantra, fake it until you make it. I don't love it. And I say that in my book. It's like you've got to make it until you make it. I don't like anything fake. You've got to choose a
Yeah.
But there is definitely a difference in smiles, just like a half-hearted smile ain't going to get the endorphins going. But, the more we
Okay.
actually
I like that.
do
Thank you.
share, the
I like
nice
that.
smile. Just
Make it
smile.
till you make it. Thank you.
Make it. It's just a shift. It's just a shift. So I don't know if there's. I'm mindful of the time. I don't know if there are any further comments. I'm just so grateful for your time. I really would love to keep hearing from you. The laughter effect is rippling out to all corners of the globe. It's going to be translated into 8 languages. Yes, it's going to be, it's really fabulous. And it just goes to show that there is a hunger for these sorts of, practical ways in which we can really, change the way, we feel, how we interact with people.
Thank you so much, Roz, for sharing about your book. For those of you who haven't got it, I encourage you. It's a wonderful, easy read, and it's just very joyful to and delve into. So let's give Roz a big round of applause, and then if there's any more comments or questions, we can take a moment if Roz has a sec. So let's give her a round of applause. Let's unmute.
Thank you.
Yay! Thank you, Ron. And thank you, Tamar. Beautiful.
I'm like, yes, the hostess with the hostess she has been.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tamar. Thanks, Roz.
Yeah.
Thank you.
My pleasure. It's been
And
so
follow
lovely.
Tamar.
Thank
We're
you so
doing
much.
join out dancing tomorrow. May I share?
There. Oh no, that's something else. He doesn't.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Did anybody else have any last comments or questions before we end?
Grace has her hand up.
Yeah, yeah. We'll take that offline, Grace. For the we're not promoting other events today. This is just about.
This was so great, Roz. Thank you for making the time.
Thank
Oh,
you.
Pleasure.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank
you.
Thank
That's
you.
Bye.
more joy. I'd like to connect with Roz. How do
I
connect
put
with
the
her?
information in the chat. I can post it one more time.
Yeah, post
That would be great.
Thanks,
Let me
Tamar,
do
for
that
hosting
one.
the event. It was excellent, like always.
Well done.
Thank
Tamar.
you, Tamar. Thank you.
Thank you,
Tamar.
Woohoo.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Tamar.
Inspiring
Thanks,
stuff.
Rose.
Love you,
Bye.
Bye.
Love
Thanks,
you.
Roz. Can you
Bye.
stay on for a moment, Roz, or no?
I can.
Yeah, I'd love to just connect with you for a moment.
Sure, sure.
We actually have Joy Now Dancing and more once, if not twice a week. I'd love to invite you to that.
Sure.
And if anybody, and also I have a free not-for-profit.
Okay, Grace, I'm going to stop you for right now. This is just about.
Okay, I'm just talking to Roz. Okay.
Okay.
I thought I was talking to Roz. What are you doing?
Okay. Thank you.
So we can connect, Grace. Reach out to me. Oh, she's gone.
Oh.
Yeah. Ross, I heard you being interviewed on a telesummit, and I was very impressed. It was really inspiring. And what I loved so much is that you're saying the same things that we say for laughter yoga, but you've got the experience and the credentials that gives it that much more clout, like, yeah, it's, I can, we can all spout off the benefits of laughter yoga, but you've got it in your personal experience and an experience of your clients. And it was so moving and inspirational. I really enjoyed it. So, yeah.
Thank you so much. It's, yeah, as I say, there's just so much to learn, and yeah, it's been a joy and delight to just keep on sort of exploring what wonderful benefits there are. So yes.
Yeah. Well, my husband is going through cancer treatments right now, and he has a great sense of humor. And we were just at the oncologist, and we got some better news than we thought we would. But he just, makes his comment, and the receptionist laughed, and at least twice the oncologist, we all laughed, and I'm going like, what did he say?
Yeah.
But it's like what you said, those little moments of laughter that you can put in, even though the situation isn't the happiest, right? So
Curiosity is it's overrated.
I should start writing them down or something, because it's so good.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for sharing that, and I wish your husband,
Thank you.
Yeah.
And
Time.
thank you for sharing your story. It's very inspiring.
Mm.
So in that period between when you had the first surgery and when they stitched you together, did you have to have that ileostomy bag the whole time?
4 months.
How long a time was that?
4 months.
4 months.
Mm.
And I can't believe you did a lingerie party.
I know. I tell you, God has a sense of humor.
So were you actually modeling the lingerie?
No, actually.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Okay. Tamar, you've just honestly, you got 30 something people on. It's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it was lovely.
You're going to have to become the queen of author talks now.
Oh, well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. And unless there's any other questions or comments, we'll pick this up another day. Thank you.